Don't you just love it when a new product comes out that has AI features? You don't? Welcome to Programming with Julius, the show where we create programs that nobody asked for. Today I present to you Pictochat GPT, taking your beloved childhood memories and polluting them with AI. And here's how we got there. We need two instances of MelonDS that can communicate with each other. The user is going to use one of them, and I will write a program that controls the other one, to give it that sweet modern AI power. The program can be divided into three main parts. First, I needed to be able to interact with Pictochat using code. And since it's controlled via the touchscreen, I can do that by performing specific mouse inputs. For starters, I need a function that can actuate any button in Pictochat. A button can be represented as a four-tuple consisting of the window, shift button state, and X and Y pixel positions. I created a lookup table that stores all the button information in a compact way, and with that I can now press any of these characters via code. To do so, I simply use PyInput to click on the correct window button on the left, then on the shift key if it's required, and finally at the X and Y position of the character. And this is what it looks like in practice. And even better, to write entire strings, I just need to call that function for each character in the input sequence. So, now we can write text, but there is very limited space and we are potentially dealing with long responses from ChatGPT. So we need to do some additional work. The simplest solution here is to just send the message as soon as the bottom right of the text area isn't white anymore, and to continue typing afterwards. Here you can see this logic in action. Doesn't that look satisfying? Well, writing is one part, but we can't really use ChatGPT unless we also implement the functionality to react to incoming messages. For that, I created a new function getLatestUserMessage, in which I want to extract whatever the user is sending. I start by capturing the full top screen of the DS, which contains all the latest messages. Since all the user messages have the same outline color, I can use OpenCV to detect that. Basically, I create a mask that only matches the message frame. On that mask I can use the findContours function to extract the identified shapes. Then I can turn them into actual boxes with the boundingRect function, which leaves me with all captured user messages. If multiple boxes are found, I return the lowest one, because that is the newest user message. So now we can ask our manager class if a new user message is present. I think we are about done with the Pictochat logic, so let's look at what else we have to do. To use the ChatGPT API, you simply have to supply your API key and call the chat completions function with the messages you want to send. It usually is that simple, but all our messages are in the form of images, which we need to process first. The API expects images to be sent in base64 encoding, which we can easily get by using the base64 package. The encoded image can then be added as content in the user message and sent off to the API. Now we are ready to put everything together. I wrote a loop that continuously checks if there is a new user message in Pictochat. If it is, the image first gets converted into base64 and then sent to the API. We retrieve the response and use the writeString function to write the message and send it at the end. And of course, all user and bot messages get appended to a conversation history list, because ChatGPT is stateless and we need to send all the messages every time. So here's the full implementation in action. I can join the chat, type any message, and after a few seconds the response arrives in Pictochat. Neat. And here you can see what the bot is doing when receiving a message. Now you may ask, why did you do that? Isn't it completely impractical and pointless to access ChatGPT in a 20-year-old chat application? Anyway, you can even draw in it. Since we're only sending images, what's stopping us from just drawing right in the input area? Now that's something the real ChatGPT can't do, so I would say this is the superior way to interact with it. And that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments and see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, special thanks to the ominous Pigeon and WizPro who really support the channel by commenting a lot, and to all the OGs of last video.